Huh.
And what did you do in World War II? Where were you?
World War II, I was on the Washington, a new battleship. I knew the war was coming up. So when I wanted, they sent me back for discharge because my time was up.
Yeah.
And I decided I was going to get me the biggest and the newest thing afloat. So I put in for a new battleship.
Yeah.
North Carolina or the Washington.
Yeah.
North Carolina was in Brooklyn. Washington was being built in Philadelphia. I got to Washington.
Huh.
And when the war broke out, I was on the Washington.
Huh.
And we went to the Mediterranean, and we operated with the English fleet
Yeah.
until we got a destroyer got in the way of a battleship, English ship,
Yeah.
and it cut it in half. And the rear end, the rear part of the destroyer sunk underneath us, and all the depth charges went off and damaged the bottom of our ship. So we had to go to Brooklyn. We had to go to Brooklyn Navy Yard for repair, and then after that we went to Guadalcanal. And then it was on the Pacific all the way around from island to island. We fought.
Huh? So did you do any fighting?
Huh?
Did you do any fighting?
Oh yeah, sure. One night we had 26 torpedoes thrown at us, and we're fighting in midnight, fighting in the dark. We sunk 9 transports and 6 cruisers and 6 destroyers, Japanese destroyers, and we had a lot of torpedoes thrown at us, but we were lucky none of them hit us.
Well, you must have had a big ship.
Huh?
I mean, the Washington, you were on the Washington the whole time?
No, when I after Washington, I came back for assignment, and I wind up on an aircraft carrier. I was on an assigned aircraft carrier. They gave me some rehabilitation leave. They called it those days. And when I went to I was assigned to Bremerton, Washington, and I wound up on an aircraft carrier.
So you met Aunt Rena in 1936, so that was before the war.
That was before the war.
So
yeah.
when did you get married?
Huh?
When did you get married?
In 37.
So during the war.
December the 3rd, 1937, at St. James Cathedral in Brooklyn.
Yeah, I remember hearing that. So, and you were born in Partenico, right?
I was born in Partenico, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about 23 miles from Palermo.
You know, I was there.
Oh, you were there?
Yeah, I saw where Grandpa was born. And how old were you when you went to when you left?
7 years old.
You were 7.
7, yeah. And when we landed in New York, I was 7 years old.
Okay.
And from there, we took the train. We took the train to St. Louis.
And that's where the family was.
Huh?
That the family was there, right?
Yeah. Well, Pete was there.
Yeah.
Brother Pete no, Frank was with us. Pete and Sam.
What about my grandfather?
Your
Where
grandfather?
was he? Yeah. Where was Anthony?
Let's see. Pete and Sam was already here. My father brought over to get him out of trouble in Italy with the Black Hands, whatever you call them.
Yeah.
And they were established. Pete was a barber, and Sam was a shoemaker.
Okay.
He had a shoe shop. And then.
Somebody said I heard it the other way. You know.
What do you mean by your grandfather?
Anthony, where was he?
Anthony? Anthony was in Tunis.
So he stayed there. He didn't come.
He wasn't. He didn't come. He didn't come here until. The first time I seen Anthony, he was branched out. I didn't know Anthony, but the first time he came to St. Louis was about 1928 or something like that.
So you didn't know him?
No, I didn't know him because when he was old enough, they branched him out to his uncle in Tunis. He was working in the barber shop in Tunis. I didn't know none of my brothers.
You just gotta
The only one I knew was my sister.
But
Me and my sister was the only one. Frank, he was branched out some other aunt.
yeah,
I didn't know him until they recalled him to come over here.
really?
Yeah. Sam I never met. Sam I met once during World War II. World War I.
Yeah.
When he came home on a sort of a leave, like
Yeah,
in Italy.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the first time I met Sam.
You too.
And Anthony I never met.
She's my mother's
And
brother.
Frank I never met until they call him back to because we was coming over to the United States.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So everybody grew up
Just
separate.
me and my sister Vigencina, that's all.
Yeah. And
I didn't know none of my brothers or anything.
huh? So were you ever together in one family at one
No,
time?
not in Italy.
Yeah.
I got that.
Wow.
We don't have any relatives.
Not in Italy, no.
So when did you meet Anthony then for the first
I didn't meet
time?
Anthony. The first time I seen him was in St. Louis when he came on a little vacation like.
So he
and
would
then
have been
went
about
back.
what, 20 or 30?
I
But-
didn't know what
but
she did until she
28.
held my hand.
Really?
When I was
1928, yeah.
I had no idea.
Lance and
How different it was.
Charger.
First time
So,
I
And a little,
I had a big family and didn't know nobody.
You kind of go shut down.
so do you remember Italy at all?
because
Huh?
What do you remember Italy? Do you remember?
Oh yeah, I remember Italy. I remember my uncle. He lived a couple blocks away. Chavetti. I was named after him. He lived where the country started.
we look at each other.
Yeah.
You know, all the trees and
Yeah.
olive trees and stuff.
Yeah.
The funny part is,
And my little cousin, he was about my age. We used to go out there